Another year, another chance for me to embarrass myself. These are my official 2024 MLB predictions. Every team's record, how the playoffs are going to play out, and who's going to win all the major awards. Let's start with the NL West, and this division is going to be pretty strong. I think the Dodgers are far and away the best team. They went on an epic spending spree in the offseason. I mean, Ohtani, Yamamoto, Teoscar Hernandez. Then they traded for Tyler Glasnow. This team is pretty solid across the board, and barring any major injuries, they should win over 100 games. I thought the Padres would take a step back this year, but even though they lost Snell and Hader and Soto, they did trade for Dylan Cease, and that was a good move. I still don't think they're going to be great, but assuming they don't lose every close game like they did last year, this team could still win 85 games. Arizona went to the World Series last year, but they only won 84 games. I have them about the same. On paper, the team got a little better in the offseason, but let's see how it shakes out. The Giants are just mediocre all around. They have some good pitching. Maybe Jorge Soler can get them their first 30 home run season since 2004. I have them with 80 wins. Then you got the Rockies. They didn't do anything impressive in the offseason. I have them far and away the worst team in the National League. The NL Central is another division where everyone has a shot, but in this case, nobody's that good. I'm giving this division to the Reds. They have a big young core. Some of these guys had great success last year, and they made a lot of moves that helped their pitching in the offseason. They won 82 last year. I think they can win 88 this year and finish on top. The Cubs were so close last year, 83 wins and barely missing the playoffs. This is another good young team. They ended up re-signing Cody Bellinger. They lost Marcus Stroman but picked up Shota Imanaga. I think they can win 3 more games and grab a playoff spot. The Cardinals are coming off their worst season in decades, but that seemed more like a blip on the radar instead of a trend. They needed help on the pitching staff, and they got Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson, and Lance Lynn. They tried, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I have them at 83 wins. The Pirates seem like they want to bust out. They show flashes of promise and then go back to playing like the worst team in baseball. I think they're going to win 1 more game than last year and finish at 77. Then there's Milwaukee, from first to worst. Their offseason made it seem like they're focused on the future, trading Mark Canha, Corbin Burns, bringing back mostly prospects. Their free agents haven't been anything exciting except maybe Rhys Hoskins, and Devin Williams is out for half the season. In a division where no team is that bad, Milwaukee might end up in last place or first place. In the East, this division belongs to the Braves. They are so stacked. They have Chris Sale now, so that may be great, maybe not, but this team has no holes. Well, aside from trying to beat the second place team in the playoffs, the Phillies. They weren't that exciting over the offseason. They got Aaron Nola to re-sign. They extended Zach Wheeler, so I think they'll be right there once again, making the playoffs but not keeping up with the Braves over a full season. The Nationals check in at 3rd place. I really like the direction this team's going. They've been rebuilding for a while and they seem to have the right pieces in place. I have them winning 6 more games and having 77 wins, maybe having an outside shot at a wildcard spot. The Mets seem to be setting up for next year. They signed some decent free agents. Harrison Bader, Sean Manaea, Luis Severino, but this team wasn't good last year and I have them about the same this year, 75 wins. Then you have Miami, last year's surprise playoff team, and they did this without much help from Sandy Alcantara. Is this the start of a big run or was it a flash in the pan? I don't know. They lost Jorge Soler, but they got Trey Mancini and Tim Anderson. A lot of lateral moves here. I'm saying they take a step back and finish in last place. So, my division winners are the Dodgers, Reds, and Braves. The Dodgers take the number 1 seed, and the wildcard teams are the Phillies, Cubs, and yes, the Padres. In the AL West, I'm falling for the trap once again. I think the Mariners take first place. Even without Robbie Ray, their starting staff is so good, possibly the best in baseball, and you got a solid bullpen, bolstered by Ryan Stanek. You also got a lot of star power on offense. This is the year they can win the West. The Astros are going to be good also. Last year was kinda weird. They had a really hard time. They barely won the division on the last day. But this year, they have Josh Hader, making that bullpen even more scary. I think they'll be good, but not great, 89 wins. The Rangers won the World Series last year, and they'll be in the mix once again. But I think they might have a World Series hangover. I know, the last time I predicted a World Series hangover was the Braves in 2022, and they shoved that right back in my face. But still, I'm only giving Texas 85 wins. The Angels are going into 2024 without a lot of hope. Trout's locked in and ready to go, but without Ohtani, without any big moves in the offseason, this is a 90-loss team. Oakland lost 112 last year. I don't think they'll be that bad, but I don't see them being that much better. I'll give them 55 wins. The AL Central might be a rough one. It's anyone's game, so I say, why not? Let's give the Tigers a chance. I like the way they ended last year. I like the help they got for their starting staff and their bullpen in the offseason. I don't like the way Javi Baez is playing, but maybe everyone playing better around him will inspire him to suck less. With 85 wins, they might win the Central. The Guardians had an awful season in 2023, a terrible follow-up to their great 2022 run, and I think this team is better than they were last year. They have a great young pitching core. They have some good hitters but need more sock in their lineup. I have them with 83 wins. Minnesota won the Central last year, but they only won 87 games. They got a big year from Sonny Gray, he's gone now, and I think they got worse over the offseason. They could still win this division, but if they do, that would mean that nobody else really wanted it. The Royals were awful last year, 56 and 106, but they have a good rebuilding process in place, and I think they improved by 8 games, 64 wins. Then you got the White Sox. They lost just about everyone, signed a bunch of mid to low tier free agents. I think they fight the A's for the worst record in the AL, 58 wins. The AL East is always interesting. Last year, we saw the Orioles emerge as a force. I think they continue right on that path, bringing up Jackson Holliday, trading for Corbin Burns. This team is young and loaded, and I have them with a very conservative estimate of 97 wins. The Yankees will rebound. They won 82 last year, and I think they crack 90 this year. Juan Soto should be that added offense they desperately needed. Aaron Judge can try to stay healthy, same with Nestor Cortez. Carlos Rodon should rebound. Garrett Cole hopefully comes back from his injury after a month or so, and their bullpen is great. They take second place. The Rays are a team that you never want to underestimate. I was so down on them after their lackluster 2022 finish. Then they come out and win 99. They lost Glasnow, but got some of the best Dodger prospects back, and I think they take a step back, but can still land a playoff spot. 85 wins. The Blue Jays are usually hanging around the 90-win mark. They stuck into the playoffs last year, and I think a big part of their season will be determined by Alek Manoah and if he can find it again. I have them at 84 wins. The Red Sox were a last-place team last year, and I don't think they've done enough to move the needle. They win 75. So, my division winners are the Mariners, Tigers, and Orioles. The Orioles grab the #1 seed, and my wildcards are the Astros, Yankees, and Rays. In the NL Wildcard Series, I have the Padres going to Cincinnati, and on the strength of their starting pitching, they win that series. Then, the Phillies host the Cubs and win for the same reason. In the AL Wildcard Series, the Yankees go to Detroit and overpower the mediocre Tigers, and the Astros host the Rays and knock them out. We all know the Rays can't score in the playoffs anymore. In the NLDS, we got the same matchups as 2022. Dodgers-Padres, Phillies-Braves. The Dodgers get their revenge on the Padres, but for the third straight year, the Phillies have the Braves number. In the ALDS, Baltimore learns from their mistakes last year, and they dispatch the Astros in a hard-fought series. And the Mariners, who also got swept last year, will take down the Yankees. In the NLCS, we have two familiar foes, 1977, 1978, 2008, 2009, and now 2024. The Dodgers find a way to beat the Phillies this time. In the ALCS, the Orioles and the Mariners square off. Two very similar teams, and the Orioles win it. Okay, the World Series, a rematch from 1966, Dodgers and Orioles. Like in 1966, the Orioles take it home and win their first championship in 41 years. I think this team is fully set up to make a World Series run. Corbin Burns was a huge piece to add to the top of their rotation, and even though they're missing Felix Bautista and replace him with Craig Kimbrell, if they need a closer, they can always get one at the deadline. It's good to know your weaknesses before the season starts, not before the playoffs start. Now, awards. NL MVP, Mookie Betts. He's playing a new position, supposedly the Dodgers' everyday shortstop, so hopefully that doesn't take away from his offense. He's gonna have Shohei Ohtani hitting right behind him every day, even scarier than Freddie Freeman protecting him last year, so he's got a big advantage. AL MVP, Julio Rodriguez. He's been starting slow and finishing fast. If he can put together a good season from start to finish, on a team that wins the division, he's gotta be the frontrunner even over Judge and Soto. NL Cy Young, Spencer Strider. He's the best strikeout artist in baseball today, and if he can avoid injury and keep his ERA down, he's gonna get a lot of votes. AL Cy Young, Kevin Gausman. I know he's gonna miss his first few starts, but assuming he comes back healthy, he's very similar to Strider. Strikeout machine, posting a good ERA, lots of innings. This could be his year. NL Rookie of the Year, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He dominated in Japan. I have no reason to believe the major league hitters will figure him out. Some people may vote against him for not being a true rookie, but I think he still wins. AL Rookie of the Year, Evan Carter. Everyone's paying attention to Jackson Holliday, but Carter has been through everything and he's still a rookie in 2024. He only played the last month of 2023 and then made a huge impact in the playoffs. The last time we saw this was Randy Arozarena in the 2020 playoffs and 2021 season. That year, he also won Rookie of the Year. NL Manager of the Year, David Bell of the Reds. If they can end up on the top of the Central, it would be hard not to give it to Bell. AL Manager of the Year, AJ Hinch of the Tigers. Same logic. The Tigers win the Central seemingly out of nowhere. He wins this award. That is, unless another team comes out and makes a big surprise run, like the Angels or Royals. Also, keep your eye on Stephen Vogt as a dark horse. That's all I have for now. If you agree or disagree with anything, let me know. I'll be doing a mid-season review in June and a final review in November, so if you want to come back and see me own up to all this, give me a sub so you don't miss it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.